Okay, once you have removed your e-brake handle from your car, which is very simple, you just grab onto it, put the e-brake on, and then it usually takes two hands, gradually twist it back and forth, and then slide it right off the end. There's no bolts holding it, there's no anything special to it. It's just maybe hard to get off, but it'll slide off eventually. Okay, after that, you bring it in, cut off the original cover. According to what cover you have, they alternated throughout the years. You may have these two grooves here, you may have a groove running down the bottom. Those are sew grooves, where the stitching actually lays in from the factory. It doesn't really matter. But also one note, right before after you cut the stitching on your cover, you need to, there's right in the end, and I'm sticking my pinky in, there's a little piece of plastic that is used basically to wedge and hold that original cover on, and it's going to be used for this. So basically stick your pinky in and wiggle it around and try to get it out. Okay, so there's that. We'll set it off to the side. Also notice, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's two little notches. Those are important because they slide into the end. As you can see, a notch here, and let me try to roll it, and I think there. And that's how that slides right back in. Obviously with the sloped end with the coming towards the outside of the handle. And so there's that right there. Okay, so anyway, you've got your new cover. Basically pretty straightforward. You start sliding it on. It's going to be tight. You want to keep this bottom seam centered on the bottom, and that's pretty much it. That simple. Slide it on as far as you can, leaving enough on this end to fold back under, which is going to be clipped by this retainer that we saw earlier. Then you're going to want to get some 3M glue. Super weather strip is what you want, and for this project I would buy the tube type, not the spray type. It can be bought at any auto parts store in the trim section. Basically then what you're going to do is you're going to paint the inside of this handle with just a little bit of that glue. You don't need a whole bunch. That stuff is strong. Okay. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to stretch, because this is going to be tight, and this also adds to the stretchiness of the rest of your handle. You're going to stretch this over, and then you're going to start gradually, and I use, personally, where are they? These little clips. I'm sure there's other options out there, but these are the ones I like. Once you get the glue on, then you'll just gradually clip it down where it won't move. Once you slide this, if you've got some little bit loose edges, don't worry too much about it, because when you slide this back on the car, the e-brake handle actually also acts as a secondary hold down. So that's this end. Now back to this end. Nothing special here. If you want to put glue, you can. You don't have to, but just put a little around the inside. And then you're just going to wrap these around by hand. You don't have to clip it or anything crazy like that. Take your end piece again, start at the bottom, because that's the way it's going to want to go in. And then you just push it in as far as it'll go. And that's what you'll end up with. Pretty simple and straightforward. Now, also, when you get your e-brake handle, according to how it was cut and sewn, you might get a little looseness right here. It's going to be tight here, but you might have a little looseness right here. If that's the case, nothing major. Just before you put it on the car, run it under some water. This stuff is synthetic. It's not leather. Don't worry about it. All Alcantaras are synthetic, by the way, in case you didn't know. And then put it on the car. The heat around the car, inside the car, especially coming up on summer, spring, will shrink that down, and it'll actually shrink this whole thing to be super tight. which you don't really need to worry about, but that's the case. Anyways, that's as simple as it is. Hope you enjoy it, and have a good one.